Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Happy Thursday to you. Let's taking a look here again at Bitcoin, see what's going on. This is a pretty big move here, folks. We saw some pretty significant volume coming in. We saw 50 million roughly basically purchased and buying activity on Coinbase, and then alternately there 1.5 billion on Binance futures. So that all happened within about a 15 to 20 minute period, and we saw the price shoot up, pull back pretty strong, and now it is trying to rival back up there. So we got a significant amount of volume flowing in. So you could argue that that's money flowing out, but the truth is the price is sustaining itself, and we got to see if the 64.4 mark is going to hold. Keep in mind, 64,400 is just kind of a closure level on the 4-hour time frame that we want to be mindful of. You kind of zoom in here, you can see we've had significant difficulty getting across that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attempts to break it. But at this point, we got this bullish rectangle pattern forming here. Essentially, we've been talking about that for a few days if you haven't tuned in yet. And we are breaking the upside. This is very standard, normal stuff. So we're expecting this, nothing to be surprised about. So, again, mostly great stuff here, obviously depending what side you're on. I'd be very careful shorting Bitcoin right now, even though it probably could pull back and probably will pull back just based on the natural nature of how sweeping liquidation levels happens with this heavy liquidation up here. We want to be just very careful. Okay, so let's go ahead and refresh the screen here, kind of see where we're at for liquidation. I want to say thank you again to my community for some awesome congrats here. Whatever the case, 70% profit in 4 days there from Near Protocol. An older Cardano trade hit 61%, VeChain 16%, Polkadot 20%. A lot of these coins are just getting started. We've got 2 or 3 other trades that are open that are currently in profit. They're all longs, of course. We're not shorting the market. If you've been watching or paying attention to anything that I've been saying, is to not short any coins right now. It doesn't make a ton of sense. Take a look here. Obviously, there's some shorts and profits. Look at this here, 65,500. There's roughly 10 to 15 billion, depending on how you average it out. Just in the last 7 days alone, shorting in that range. Most of that just happened a couple of hours ago. We zoom out to kind of look at the liquidation levels here. We can recognize two. We got a good, each one of these red bars is 10 billion closely, or approximately. We can see 6.5. I mean, there's good, probably, if you were to round up a little bit, maybe about 40 billion in liquidation between now and 66,000. So that large amount, that 80 billion in liquidation just got cut in half with this candle wick sweeping roughly half of that. So we still got some left there. We're going to pay attention to that and kind of see where we're at. But generally speaking, it's definitely one of those things where we want to be kind of cautious and careful in just being overly crazy about taking a short, because once again, most everything's very bullish. Obviously, the market makers are going to want to try to get everybody to late long and then probably pull the price back. That's a very strong reality. However, if you're going to trade with odds or statistics, your odds of the price going down versus going up is much lower. So why trade into that? Just doesn't make a ton of sense. Obviously, if you're day trading, you're watching it close, there's a different story altogether. But if you're just going to set it and forget it and try to go down to 55K or something crazy, I think that's a pretty bad decision. Let's take a look here at the SMAs on the daily time frame, just really quickly to note. We've been wavering above and below the 200 SMA for quite some time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Today is the 6th attempt. So far holding above that level, okay? So we close above the 200 SMA, that'd be very beneficial. I'm really looking for a closure, to me, about 64,500 is a round number, 64.4 specifically, to be able to close above that 4-hour candlestick wall that we have here for this range. Okay, so again, I draw my trend lines out here essentially based on candlestick closures, not candle wicks. And this is mostly the 4-hour time frame that you can see. The price is just holding very, very strong in this little level. Having said that, though, that's kind of an area there for me. So we get a solid closure above 64.4. Not necessarily today, but I would probably prefer to see that on the weekly. Then we're going to be in pretty darn good shape to see the price continue further up. Again, just because you get 1 day of closure doesn't mean the price is going to just sustain it and stay there. But it is something to note there, whereas being patient is a very helpful tool in trading. It can obviously work against you, because I've been very patient with a lot of trades that haven't pulled back to the entry targets that I wanted. Like SCI, for example, I wanted in at 37 cents. I got a little too firm on that, and 38 cents it just took off and didn't look back, right? Even though all the proof was there that it was going to take off. So sometimes, holding off and being patient can be problematic. So definitely not a 100% guarantee, but the truth is here, being patient, I still feel would be advantageous, considering the fact that, if you're trying to consider shorting, you may want to wait a little bit. It does look like the Bitcoin is holding this level very strong. We can see our money flow index is super high. That's really one of the things, probably one of the main things you want to follow. We also want to mainly follow the points of control, which if you haven't noticed, all right, maybe you weren't paying attention. The macro point of control for us, it was 63,000 yesterday. It still is. You can see that. We got the most amount of volume between 63 and 64K. So there is a ton of accumulation occurring right now in this range of 63 to 64, or previously before we broke free from that range for the moment. Okay. Anyways, no need to get into other details here. Honestly, all the indicators here are very, very bullish on the daily time frame. Okay, so really there's zero reasons to consider shorting from a macro perspective. When we take a look at the micro, or sorry, more so just the transitionary time frame, the 4-hour time frame, we can see that there's a lot of moving averages here, all below the price action, basically letting us know that we're on the right side of tracks, and to short into this is a very foolhardy mistake. Moving on to that as well, just kind of reiterate that we still have got room left on the RSI to continue higher up without being overextended. So my speculation here is we may see 66K before the weekend. If so, then that might be a good solid consideration to consider shorting, just because all the liquidation would be swept, at least in the more immediate time frames here. And then you could maybe short with a little more confidence, even though there's a lot of momentum, so to speak. You could find some benefit with some tighter targets to the downside. Right now, it just doesn't make a ton of sense. And I'm sure as soon as you watch this video, the price will be in like the 63K range and be like, oh, you totally made a mistake. But the truth is, it's no mistake if you don't take a trade at all, right? Whether or not you miss a good one or a bad one, it's better sometimes to kind of hang tight. So me personally, I'd much rather be looking for a long in the 64,000 range in the next 24 to 48 hours depending on where it's at. Or conversely there, once liquidation has been swept, generally you can try to short into that and have some success with tighter margins. So again, 66K would seem like a probable shorting area of consideration, at least for now, right? Things will change between now and when we get there. So you got to recognize it's not always just, you can't just, days later set an alert. Once it triggers, you just jump on in because conditions do change. Anyways, we're seeing a MACD convergence here. We're seeing our trend strength index bounce off zero. Everything here is screaming bullish convergence. There's no reason to short into this from, again, a 4-hour time frame here, which again is a transition. Basically, what it was doing yesterday, and it'll probably change now and be different now, is it was showing us that we had some divergences. But again, those divergences were on smaller time frames, and they don't really work well when everything else is screaming the price is going to go up, right? So the common narrative here is that the continuation is more likely. There's no reason to short into this coin. And at this point here, we've broken fully bullish in the hourly time frame as well, now that we've broken free from this range. Now, this isn't an official break free from the range, but it's a pretty solid start. I mean, there's a really, really good chance that we're going to be able to stay and maintain above 64.5 as a round number, 64.4 to be specific. And, it's probably going to be looking a little something like this, right? Where the price action essentially continues higher up after potentially pulling back to this local high. Once more, we need time to be able to develop and to see that. But for right now, I would not consider shorting anything at all. Not just because the entire market is green and super strong, but with Bitcoin dominance kind of maintaining its range here and the price of Bitcoin going up, that tells me that altcoins have sustainability right now. And you're not going to find a lot of luck trying to short altcoins. There are people getting destroyed. Their asses are literally getting handed to them every single day right now because they're trying to short into an overextension. Folks, in a bullish trend, you do not short into an overextension unless you have a significant amount of patience and you sit there and watch and you find the right opportunity. From a swing trader's perspective, though, I don't want to sit there and look at the charts all day. I'm going to wait, set my alerts, kind of reevaluate later, and jump in if and when the conditions are suiting. So in this case here, it's definitely looking like we're probably going to see further upside. So again, I would say between now and then, consider the fact that 66,000 is probably a likely next target. And even at that point, it may not be advantageous to consider shorting. We want to look and see if there's anything specific at that point. Okay, anyways, I hope I'm making sense with my circular conversation here. Sometimes talking to myself to you can be kind of funny sometimes, but I think we're in pretty good shape here, folks. Again, this is pretty much a very standard good situation. So just be mindful that what goes up does come down eventually. Obviously, we're going to see some kind of pullback or retracement. This can't go up forever. But again, altcoins, I would be very careful shorting them right now. Unless we see a significant divergence under this 62.5 mark, I think we're in pretty good shape. All right, folks, I hope that makes sense. Thanks again so much for watching and sticking through. Don't forget to hit the like button, comment below. Feel free to check out our sponsors, links down below. These guys are awesome, really great exchanges with awesome benefits. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for your time. Take care.